Yeah, we're gonna clap sync, so don't
Okay.
worry, Jose. We got you. No, the first one was a bit on my end.
Okay.
I faked you out. Well, hello everybody. Welcome back. It's 2FAST2MOVIE. I'm your host Abraham, and with me is my co-host Benjamin Collins, and we're here to talk about Season 1, Episodes 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22 of Attack on
Jesus
Titan.
Christ.
And this comprises all of the expedition outside of the walls. So everything until they get back in Episode 22, we are covering on this episode. Now, before we begin, go ahead and subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, because guess what? We post all the goddamn time, and spoilers ahead, not just for this episode of Attack on Titan, but for everything Attack on Titan. You have been warned.
Yes.
Oh, man.
We've had some people in our comment section that have made the mistake of looking at the wiki, by the way, when they wanted to check something. If you haven't read the manga, just don't do that. I'm not allowed to look at the wiki, people.
Yeah, you really just can't. You can't do that.
The fandom does a really bad job at not spoiling things.
It's not even the fandom. It's just, if you're looking at the Attack on Titan wiki, you kind of have to go in knowing.
Here's the issue. I know of fandoms where they will do something where you can look at only the wiki for the anime or only the wiki for the manga.
Yeah. I think Attack on Titan does.
That should just be the default.
Attack on Titan does do that, but they're like hidden. They're like, you have to, I think the manga comes up first.
The manga always comes up first.
But regardless, we're talking about all of these episodes, so I guess why don't we just jump into the recap and go ahead and get started. So, after facing off against Armin, the female Titan goes towards Eren's location, and here we find all of Levi's squad on horseback heading through the dense forest. The perimeter has other recruits luring Titans to them in order to keep the center Titan free. The female Titan breaks through to catch up with them, but Levi continues to move forward. Eren, headstrong as ever, almost activates his Titan ability to face off against the mysterious Titan. But Levi's words ring in his head. You can never know what's going to happen, so pick the decision that you'll regret the least. Trusting his comrades, he goes forward with Levi, and it's revealed that prior to this, the scouts have laid a trap to capture the Titan shifter. However, as the interrogation is underway, the Titan screams and summons the Titans just outside the forest. In an instant, they devour it. Or so it seems. For as the group begins to leave, Erwin hypothesizes that the scream was used as a way to slip through the chaos, and now the shifter is disguised as an enemy soldier. Too bad that Levi squad doesn't know this. The female Titan shows its face once more, and Eren is left with another choice. Should he escape with his comrades should he escape like his comrades want, or should he help to defeat this mysterious foe? He chooses to trust in the power of friendship, but it's a shame that Titans are stronger than friendship. The female Titan kills all of Levi's squad, and then Eren tries to face off against the female Titan and loses dramatically. And finally, Mikasa and Levi work together to rescue Eren. And with that, the expedition outside of the walls comes to a close with nothing to show for it. After a harrowing journey back to the walls, where dead carcasses are thrown over the side just to relieve the weight, the scouts return in a sight very reminiscent of Episode 1. The scouts are then ordered to turn in Eren to the MPs. And that is basically where the entire thing ends up, with a straight up loss for the scouts.
Yeah.
Which
That's
not too surprising, actually, considering everything that we know about them.
No, it's like when you first start watching the show, you go, wow, so people are just gonna fucking die all the time. Yep. This is great. Okay, yep, there it is. Everyone's dying.
Yeah. And there was something great about this episode too, about having Levi's squad die. As tough as it is to, have these people that Eren looked up to die, it does instill something in him that will carry out through other seasons, which is putting your faith in other people.
Yeah.
Which, oddly enough, he kind of doesn't learn the right lesson.
No, here's the thing. the show makes a point, and this is one of the reasons why like it's always weird that the show was marketed as a shonen, because when this happened, when the show first aired, I went, yes, here we are, shonen anime time, power of friendship.
Yep,
let's go. And then of course like it fucking just whops you.
Petra just gets stomped like a bug. Yep. It's pretty awful.
Yeah, it's the brutality in these couple episodes is absolutely ridiculous. But the sense of relying on other people, it just feels like he gets really close, and the lesson isn't supposed to be rely on your friends. The lesson is supposed to be do what you're going to regret least. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I think Eren ends up misconstruing the message, because you have to remember the first time that he chose not to fight the female Titan,
it worked out.
Yeah, it worked out flawlessly. It's only that the female Titan had another card up her sleeve that made things a problem.
Yeah.
But the fact is that we can talk all much about like, oh, Eren believed in his team, but his team didn't believe in him. And that's really the reason why they're telling him not to fight. Because let's face it, they're up against a force that they have no comprehension of how strong it is.
A skilled Titan.
Yeah.
Never been faced before.
So there was no reason for them to even kind of believe that they could have won that fight. Mm-hmm. In every single person on Levi Squad's head, they should have known, like, we're not going to make it. And the fact is that they just didn't believe in Eren. Yeah. So, hot take here, they kind of dug their own grave by not letting him ever do his own thing. And we see this earlier on, and they do their best to kind of reprimand themselves and learn from each moment. We can see that with them biting their own hands in earlier episodes, which I believe is something that's actually covered within this block.
It is, yeah. It's in a flashback in this that I didn't cover, but it is part of this.
Yeah, it's the whole issue of Eren only being able to activate his Titan powers when he has a clear, distinct goal, and they freak out because he was trying to grab a spoon, and then his self-injury flared up and his Titan arm grabbed the spoon. Mm-hmm. I still think that that's one of the greatest moments of like magic system discovery ever.
That's great.
But like the fact is that they didn't believe in him, and they always see him as a threat.
Two things to that point. I guess one, a counter to that is that given the timeline of events,
yes,
the Trost operation just happened. They probably would have been briefed on the whole thing about what happened, what went wrong, what went right. And a big thing to note is that Eren couldn't control his abilities for a lot of that. And it's still a new ability. This would only be a second transformation in the whole, like, well, technically like third or fourth if you're counting the small ones with the cannonball and the spoon. But regardless, he doesn't have a lot to show for himself.
Yes.
Never killed a Titan before in human form. That doesn't happen until season 2, actually.
Really?
Yeah, he never kills it. He has not killed a single Titan.
Oh gosh.
He's like, this is still like pretty early on into their like
into his military career. That's fair.
And it's also shown that they want Eren.
Yeah.
Like that they're looking for him. So I guess to counter all of that, yes, they don't trust him, but it's not like that's not founded. I don't think it's out of fear anymore.
It's not that it's not founded, but again, that's one of the underlying issues that leads to this. Because
that
they never had a shot in hell of actually pulling that off. They didn't have Levi there. If Levi was there, they had a chance, but even Levi is the only person that's not actively telling Eren not to transform.
Right.
He's still the person that's like, you have to do whatever feels like the right call that you're going to regret least.
Yeah.
And that's not just a like, oh, believe in your friends. That's you're at war. Yeah. And you have to be able to make gut decisions that are correct.
Yep.
That is a soldier telling you that what your situation needs to be. That's not believe in the power of friendship. That is, you have to make the right call, and sometimes you're going to fail, and even he doesn't know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. And then second point, as I was saying earlier, like this kind of carries on. This moment is one of the most probably defining moments for Eren's character.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you think about him putting his faith in other people and how he believes that to, result into less optimal success and potentially even the death of his friends, which he does not want to see at all.
Yeah.
Because he values them more than anything. At least he claims in season 4. you can see all of his abandoning his friends in the Scouts in season 4, all of that time where he did his own thing in Marley as not putting his faith in Hanji. Something that he also said, like, Hanji, what can you even do? Yeah. I'm the one doing I'm the one actually putting forth the energy to save Eldia. You're keeping me here locked up in this prison. I just think that that's very, like, this is another moment where I'm like, wow, this definitely planted some seeds that were going to be put in later.
No, the character work that has done in this show is absolutely phenomenal through and through. I just love the way that different pieces are constantly being informed with these decisions.
For real, yeah. We should also talk kind of about Levi, but also the Levi squad, because with their deaths, we actually do learn a lot about other characters, specifically Levi.
I mean, I feel like we spent a decent portion on them, but like my thing with Levi squad is that we only, again, it's through their deaths that we learn, just in my opinion, just kind of little tidbits. And Levi's not really a fully developed character for a while in this show.
Yeah. He's built up over time.
Yeah, and it's always he's just barely showing his hand at any given moment, and he's kind of this relaxed person. But like we see when they make it back, and he has to basically give the patch that belonged to Petra off, and also let's just in the sequence where they are dumping bodies off. They do. I know that you missed it initially.
I did,
but that was Levi squad that was in those bodies.
I knew it was Petra. I didn't know it was everybody else in Levi squad.
There was one thing where we see Petra, but there's also another shot where we see another hand that has been bitten from that earlier scene.
That was rough.
So
to hear
you have to, and you have to remember, Levi knows that those bodies are in that cart, and he's making a choice in order to save everyone, but that does not mean that he is like a heartless person. When we get back to Inside the Walls,
Petra's dad
talks
to him, and
it doesn't even show us how that conversation went down. It just cuts to black
because Levi is just looking 1,000 yards there, and just like, because Levi has lost so much.
Yeah.
Especially because, I mean, I've been spoiled on the No Regrets OVA.
Oh, no.
Well, because I saw the beginning of it, and I was like, oh, these characters are in this, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Nope.
They're not in season...
Nope.
They're not in any of the seasons.
Nope.
They're not making it, are they?
Nope.
Okay, yeah, that's...
Yeah, the Levi OVA is fun.
Okay, I don't know how they die, but that's going to be fun. But regardless, he's lost a lot, so...
And this is someone that, like, you can tell it's not his first rodeo based off of this.
They're like, hey, how you doing, Levi? Oh, man, my daughter, she was telling me the other day about, like, that crazy...
She got into Levi's spot, and she's so happy about it. I'm just like, oh, dude.
So anyway, where is she? Don't see her anywhere. And he's just walking forward, like...
it's not quite get the fuck away from me, but it's like, I really wish I didn't have to have this conversation right now.
Yeah. It's because Levi would never be like a fuck you guy.
Yeah, and it's also, you can tell that the other issue in that character moment's so good because you can tell that the dad fully expected that if she was in Levi's squad, that was the safest place for her to be.
In a weird way, it is.
Yeah.
The problem was the breakaway, and also they didn't understand the female Titan's power.
Exactly. But what are you going to fucking tell that dad?
Yep.
Nothing. That's what you're gonna tell him. You're gonna fucking let him chew you out and be fucking heartbroken about it.
You're gonna cut to black before you even have to do it.
The cut to black is just his disassociation. There was no conversation.
I mean, who knows? Maybe there was a conversation. He just doesn't remember it. Disassociated the entire way through. We should also talk about Mikasa, because Mikasa and Levi have a great moment together, and I think this is one moment that really, really shows her agency well.
I'm sorry, I have to put something out there.
Go for it.
Because I'm watching this scene, and I watch this show with my partner.
Yep.
She's learning everything through it. I don't think that they've necessarily dropped that he's an Ackerman yet.
No, he's just Levi.
He's just Levi right now.
Yeah.
So like, there's this. Watching this, I'm just like, this is both of the Ackermans.
Yeah.
Going after the female Titan.
Yep.
And I'm like, wait a minute. Did they mention Levi's last name yet? And my girlfriend's like, no, I don't. He's just Levi. And I'm like, okay, cool, great. Definitely didn't show the card there.
God, that's great.
I like had to be like, I don't know. Wait, has that shown up? I feel like that would have shown up.
No, Levi's last name isn't shown up until season 3.
Are we? Oh, because Kenny.
Because season 2, Levi's gone in all season 2 because he sprains his leg in this fight.
Yeah. Oh, that's fucked.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah,
I totally bled that. She's not going to find out for a while. But...
I mean, it's also just like a weird thing of like, who could it possibly be?
Yeah, and she's not... Honestly, anyone in that situation would be looking for the Asian connection, not the Ackerman connection.
Exactly.
So, that's the... Yeah.
Yeah. Because there was a lot more stress put on her being Oriental.
Yes.
As they said in the show. But regardless... Mikasa, yeah, does, because I remember before you were talking about how Mikasa is always just an Eren machine.
Yeah.
This time, at least like her and Levi have like this back and forth where like, no, you can't do this because we got to be smart about it. Let's do you do this, you do that, and then I'll swoop in and get him, and then you do that.
Yeah, I will say my issue with this here is the fact that it still treats her as... And I mean, kind of rightfully so, because she is the most green person. She's the most hot-headed. It does definitely treat her as the lesser person within that relationship. But I will say she has agency, but the issue with conversations that we've had earlier is that it's 100% connected to Eren and not like a personal choice. Right. Which again, you can make if you haven't seen our conversation earlier about this, yes, the Ackerman thing exists. But whether it's not an excuse for poor character development, because Levi, on the other hand, has plenty of character goals that do not involve Commander Erwin being completely up his butt.
Yep. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you can't just say, oh, it's okay for this person to not have any agency because their character... Like, they still have to have agency in some aspects.
Yes, exactly.
Just like in the same way that people, like, get up every day and brush their teeth and do things... Like, it
shouldn't be completely... and again, there's nothing... In this moment, this is absolutely where the story would need to go.
Right.
But when we're talking about Mikasai's character, and again, the connection between femininity and agency between all the female characters, that is a major issue.
Yeah, for sure. It's still better than previously.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's just good when somebody gets to do something. And that like makes me forget about like, oh, the whole Ackerman thing. Yeah.
There's a in the next block that we're going to talk about next episode, there actually is a great Mikasa open moment that is not Eren driven, which is awesome.
Awesome.
So I'll bring that up then.
Perfect.
And then she'll finally have a point.
Besides, Eren! And then slicing up Titans. Well, speaking of Titans, we got to talk about the female Titan and specifically her powers, because we were shown a little bit of what the we were shown a little bit of what the female Titan can do in season 4, being versatility, high mobility, and high hardening.
Yeah, having extremely a very good hardening.
Yep. But we see many of these abilities in action, like the hardening, for example, Titan calling, all the Titans on the outer walls.
Yep.
There's also a moment where Annie regenerates one of her eyeballs faster than the other so that she can see Petra and kill her.
Yes.
Which we were debating about this previously, about whether it's an Annie power or if it's a female Titan power.
I think by calling it an Annie power, again, the thing here is I think that this is probably something that, because it just hasn't been explicitly stated as a canon ability that only the female Titan has, right. I have to presume that this is something that just a skilled Titan wielder can do. Mm-hmm. So it probably doesn't... I can't imagine it's going to come up much other than when you're fighting people with ODM gear, because with ODM gear, your actions are to go for the vitals and then go for the neck.
Right.
And so it makes sense that it's something that would only come up in this fight. And I think one of the most amazing things about watching this fight is when you don't know that there's a difference between the female Titan, Eren's Titan, when you don't understand that
people.
Yeah, and you just understand that there's someone else in that. Like, again, watching it with my partner, the first thing that she says when Eren tries to fight him is like, oh, he's gonna lose. He's like hopelessly outmatched.
Yep.
Like, she can do all this crazy shit and he has no idea what he's doing. This isn't gonna work.
Yep.
Like, that is, to me, all those moments of like the more minute control she had of the magic system and the ways that she was able to actually manipulate how everything worked was more not to show what the female Titan can do, but the gap between her and Eren from a foiling standpoint.
That's also true. So that could be one of the things where Isayama didn't necessarily write out everything beforehand.
Exactly.
And then just went, okay, now that I've already established that, and now that I have to explain it, let me just contextualize all that into put into the
and
power.
just make it, this is the versatile Titan.
That could have been, that could have very well been the case.
Because Eren's Titan, as far as the Berserk Titan is concerned at this point, that's all we know as well. Because we never really get a lowdown on what the Attack Titan can do in Season 4.
Yet.
Yet.
Anyway, one thing that I will say is that, because I remember you just brought up the Berserk Titan.
Yeah.
This could also just be like something that Annie, like you said, Annie can do, similar to how Eren is just so angry on the inside.
That it can conjure that flame from...
Or maybe that he can, you know how like people have like superhuman strength in like times of stress?
Yes, adrenaline.
Yeah, maybe he could like do that while in his Titan form.
Well, that will be coming up in our next episode of coverage.
We'll be able to talk about that more. I just wanted to bring that up as a point of reference for people who...
Yeah, that is a good point, and that's, again, something that we're never going to see again.
Yep, so who knows, Isayama? Only you know. Good luck with your vacation, I guess. Because he just finished the manga. I'm pretty sure he's like...
Oh, no, he's probably not paying attention to any of this shit.
We should also finally cap off with the sort of how the last episode ends. With the scouts coming home just completely empty-handed. Like, they got their asses handed to them. And something... I wrote down in my notes that the only thing that they have to show for themselves is that there's undeniable proof that there is some kind of conspiracy or an extra, like another entity, but I don't know if that would even help in Eren's situation.
I think it does in the next episode, and I think that they come home with something significantly more concrete than we think, because the entire goal of this mission was to flush out who the other Titans are and who the enemy is. That was the entire goal. And that's also the reason why when Season 2 opens up, everyone's in plain clothes and they're being watched super closely. And it's like, and they don't know why. But like, if you're watching the show and especially if you're watching Seasons 1 and 2 back to back, you go, one of these people is a fucking traitor.
Yep.
Because someone had to have told Annie where they were in the formation.
Right.
So you know that at least someone there is suspect. So basically, honestly, what they came down to, and the only reason why this doesn't happen immediately is because they had to deal with Annie before anything else happened. And then while they're dealing with Annie, the events of Season 2 begin immediately.
Right.
They probably knew, based off of which formation was attacked first, and they probably knew based off which formation was attacked first, and everything else that they mentioned basically within the next episode, that Annie is most likely the female Titan, and if they confirm that, then Reiner is definitely the person that outed that formation.
Yep. Or at least somebody in the 100.
Nope. 100% Reiner.
How do you
know why?
Why?
Because so they gave it. So it's heavily implied that in the formation that they had set up,
right,
that every single person was given a different location for Eren.
I don't think it's not every person; it's every squadron.
Regardless,
but yeah,
they would have had it narrowed down to like 3 people in Reiner's squadron
for sure.
So
at the time, I think it was actually. Oh no! Wait, because you're right. Because Reiner immediately, Reiner, John, and Armin were all in the same squadron. They all had different
plans. Yep.
Okay, so
yeah, and Reiner's was, I heard that he was in the right flank, and that's what got attacked first.
So it's like Reiner in that one group, potentially maybe like 1 or 2 other people. Yeah, you're right.
Exactly. So they had to have known, and the only reason why they weren't actively capturing Reiner in particular is because they just didn't have confirmation that Annie was in.
And I mean, it makes sense too, because like 6 episodes after this fact, when they come down to season 2, they're like, they mention that as one of the pieces of information, like that Reiner was among the people who got that information. So,
and Reiner has a strong 100%. Connection with Annie. They all had the same backstory, coming from the same village.
Yeah, they flushed them out real quick, actually, in hindsight. I think the only reason why I'm thinking about it like that is because, again, the gap between season 1 and 2 from a
how long we had to watch them, I think it was 3 years between those two seasons.
Meanwhile, season 2 and 3 was like a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you for giving me that
I had to like dial back and be like, no, they had to have known that Reiner was among the top suspects for being a traitor.
You're absolutely right. Detective Ben is finally on the case, so you guys are going to be covered here, watching us on 2FAST2MOVIE. Thank you guys again for watching us gush and just rave about this wonderful show, and let us know if you agreed with some of our points, disagreed. We'd love to hear what you thought. And is there anything that we missed that we should have covered? We would also love to hear you talk about that in the comment section down below. We always reply to your comments.
Yes, we do. Also, how are people feeling about the new studio setup?
Oh,
we were in a little bit of a rush today. You didn't include that in the beginning.
Include that, yeah.
No.
Well, this is going to be the new setup for the next few episodes, so I guess let us know if you like it or not, and
we'll see if we keep it around, I guess. We'll figure it out.
Until next time, it's 2FAST2MOVIE.
Oh, shit, I think it's...